Welcome to Being an Inclusive Leader. Today we will be learning about
why we should be aware of being an inclusive leader,
awareness of disabilities, race, religion, and gender orientation,
person first language,
example of being an inclusive leader.
I'm Emma Murphy and I'm a senior at Homewood Flossmoor High School. I have played unified soccer for 3 years, track and field for 2. I was a peer partner for Special Olympics basketball. I am editor-in-chief of our school newspaper, The Voyager. I participate in Just Like You Club, which is a social club for students with and without disabilities. I am overall director for Operation Snowball, which is a drug and alcohol prevention program. I'm in NHS, I play golf and water polo, and I'm also a member of the Youth Activation Committee for Special Olympics Illinois.
My name is Donzel Marshall, and I'm a senior at Homewood Flossmoor High School. I play unified soccer for 3 years. I did track and field for 2 years, and I did Special Olympics basketball for 3 years. And I'm part of Just Like You Club. I'm also on Youth Activation Center Committee. I was ambassador for a lot of years. 2 years.
I'm Samantha Coleman. I'm a junior at Francis Parker High School in Chicago. I'm the volleyball and softball captain. I've been playing volleyball for 5 years now and softball for 2. I'm the IHSA SAC representative for District 1. I'm a member of my school's community committee, which helps transition new freshmen into the high school. I'm also on the Parker Student Athletic Council, and I was a county fair head, which was an organizer for a school-wide fair my sophomore year. I've been in choir for the past 7 years, and I have a golden doodle named Tater Tot, as you can see.
My name is Mahdi Mohammed. I am a senior and I go to Major Hector P. Garcia High School, which is in Chicago. And I'm also Palestinian American. I am the IHSA representative for District 2. I have been the cross-country captain team for 2 years. And I've been in the volleyball team also for 3 years. I'm part of the National Honor Society at my school and part of Chicago Scholars, which is a program that helps me get into colleges and helps me also after college and when I am in college. And I'm also part of Student Council.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mr. McLaughlin, and I am a teacher at Homewood Flossmoor High School, and I am one of the sponsors for Just Like You Club. I coach Special Olympics, and I'm a sponsor for the Youth Activation Committee for Special Olympics.
All right, to start it off, what is an inclusive leader? I know it sounds simple, it's only 2 words. We kind of know the definition of both, but could you really define them put together? So the definition of inclusion is the action or state of including or being included within a group or structure.
We are not just athletes.
We are the ambassadors of an uprising.
Peaceful protesters in rebellion against anyone
who has a fear of difference.
Our demands are
Equality,
dignity,
and the recognition of our shared humanity.
We will not stop or accept anything less.
We are deserving.
When we compete, we're fighting for a more inclusive world.
We are champions on the field and for this cause.
Today, our world is more divided than ever.
And coming together has never been more urgent.
Revolution is inclusion!
And it's not optional.
The only choice you need to make is how you join it.
As you just saw, the most common application of inclusion is in terms of ability and disability. So on to the second part of inclusive leadership, traits of a leader. So when you think of a leader, what kind of traits do they have? How do they act? What do they say? What do they do? You can think of your parent or guardian, or maybe your coach or your captain, any figure in your life who you perceive as a leader. So now take 1 or 2 minutes to write down, or maybe just think about 3 or 5 traits you think a leader might have. All right, perfect. I wish we were all here with you in person so we could kind of go through those things together, but since we're not, here is the words that me and my team kind of came up with that we thought was applicable to a leader. So someone who's honest, who's passionate about what they do, respectful of either their coach or each other or teammates, the ability to delegate, so the ability to understand and be able to use the people that they have, and a good communicator, so they know how to talk to you, they know how to talk to other people, they know how to get the message they want to across. So when we put those two things together, an inclusive leader is defined as leaders who are aware of their own biases and preferences, actively seek out and consider different views and perspectives to inform better decision making. So what this kind of means in the real world sense is an inclusive leader, they're people oriented, they're great listeners, and they're able to use the talents of their team and know what strengths they have and be able to make the best out of who they have and the skills that those people have. They're patient, understanding, they're soft-spoken in that they can talk to you, they talk to people, they know how to approach a situation for you and you specifically, and they're genuinely interested in others. They're not just a leader, they're not separate, they're genuinely a part of the team and they want to work with you. So we've talked a lot about what an inclusive leader is, so why is it so important? Without inclusive leadership, there'd be no innovation. People wouldn't be willing to open up and listen to these new ideas, which have caused so many of the greatest inventions and ideas that have come about over the years. They allow people to not just be welcome, but they are heard, respected, and valued. So they're not just there, they're actually a part of something, which is the whole idea of a team and using leadership to build that team environment. And these exact same ideas can be applied to ability. Everyone is needed under inclusive leadership. It's not just regular people, but just everyone. This applies to everybody.
Equality for everyone. Many people come from different backgrounds, cultures, ethnicities, religions, and being different from everyone else. As an inclusive leader, we can make everyone feel accepted and equally as each other because, especially during this time where we need to come together and make everyone feel the same.
Open. Open a door and it opens all the others. Open a mind and see what happens next. No great thing, no beautiful invention was created in a vacuum. It happens when we leave our comfort zone and come together. Embrace faiths, cultures, disabilities, differences. Embrace races, ages, ideologies, personalities, creating a tool or device nobody saw coming. Humanity is plural, not singular. The best way the world works is everybody in, nobody out. So who we're made of is everyone. Differences not just celebrated, but essential. Many more women in charge, equal pay for equal work everywhere. A new generation of Apple, more diverse than the one that came before. Open is not just who we are, but what we believe as a company. Because humanity isn't singular, it's plural. The truth is, we don't see things the same. The power is, we don't see things the same.
So, awareness of disabilities. When somebody thinks about disability, they start thinking about someone who goes to the doctor many times, who has a hard time functioning, and lives a completely different lifestyle than they do. There's more to that. There's thousands of disabilities that can be temporary or a lifetime. People need to be aware of cognitive, visual, speech, mental, and other disabilities that people go through on a day-to-day basis. We have to help those families who are having a hard time reaching for help and that need support. Having a disability doesn't make you any different than anyone else. It can make you also stronger. We have to help raise awareness about these people because they aren't looked as, but sadly to say, but aren't the same as we are. They don't see them as regular people. So we need to ensure that they are looked as regular people and are as capable of us doing, or even maybe more than what we do. Race and ethnicity. Racism is an ongoing issue that has been going on for decades. We are divided from each other and are brainwashed, believing we are obligated that one is better than the other. The United States is separated, whether you want to believe it or not. African Americans, Native Americans, and Hispanic people are looked down upon for no reason. They are racially and physically attacked, and we should be proud of who the people are around us because it shows how diversity can teach other people morals as well as values. Religion. Religion is a key factor for one's life and prosperity. It's something you value and you spend your lifetime practicing. The hatred and torture, for example, that's happening in China with the Muslims that are being put in the concentration camps, and we're in the 21st century. which is unbelievable, and the media isn't covering any of it. Just imagine what's happening all around the world. We really need to shed some light and some truth about what's going on in reality. We need to accept each other for who we are. Gender orientation. We grow up in a society where people are judged and attacked for who they are, whether it's their looks, how they talk, what they wear, anything. And they can't show the truth of themselves. Families, parents, and friends disown and reject them from being themselves. We have to show that whatever you are, homosexual, non-binary, or transgender, what makes that person happy, and you don't know what that person is capable of doing and what's really going on with them in their life. So how can you raise awareness? You can raise awareness by posting on your social media, such as Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, etc. Whether it's a quick tweet, whether it's a picture, a small motivational paragraph, a sentence or two, or a short video. You can talk to your school and administrations about having fundraisers and putting posters all around the school, making announcements, and maybe even putting posters around your neighborhood, and getting in contact with other organizations and with ways that you can help them and volunteer. And all in all, diversity is key to success because it brings other ideas and other things that we might not even think of. And we have to understand that we are all human, we are all capable of doing the same exact thing, and we are all the same.
All right, we want everyone to take 10 minutes and click on the link under click this link to play. And we want everyone to go and play inclusion tiles. All of the instructions are on the website. Just take your time, take 10 minutes and just take the inclusion journey and come back to the presentation when you're done. Hopefully everyone got a lot out of playing Inclusion Tiles. It's a very meaningful game. It truly shows how everyone's inclusion path is very different, and there's no right or wrong answer when playing Inclusion Tiles. No journey is the right journey, and hopefully everyone got to play around with it for a while and enjoyed the game. All right, so now we're going to talk about person first language. I'm going to talk about what person first language is, why it's important to use it, and the one exception to person first language. All right, we're going to watch this video. The video is going to explain what person first language is, how to use it a little bit, and then I'll go into a little more detail about it.
What is person first language? Person first language puts the person ahead of any disability identifier, meaning a person who has autism or a person with an intellectual disability. Why is this important? A person with a disability is a person first. People with disabilities do not want to be seen first and foremost by their disability. It devalues their inherent uniqueness and personhood. Additionally, a person who uses an assistive device is not bound by it. A person who uses a wheelchair, for example, is much freer to move around this world because of their chair. This stems from the social model of disability. A person is disabled by lack of access to their community and environment, not their impairment. Another common model is the medical model, which typically sees the person from a diagnostic point of view. Another common model is the charity model. This posits interventions or policies are done in the best interests of the person with a disability without including them or their experiences in the decision-making process. Also, using terms such as special, mentally retarded, handicapped are disrespectful and possibly hurtful. Always ask the person how they choose to identify, but default to person-first language if you don't know.
All right, so just as the video said, person first language emphasizes their individuality, equality, and dignity of people with disabilities. Person first language conveys respect for people with disabilities while watching how your language describes them. And person first language puts the person before the disability. All right, why use person first language? Your language shapes attitudes and perceptions. It avoids perpetuating old stereotypes and it models appropriate language. Your language is the first thing people see in you. If you say something that's very hurtful right when you meet someone, they're not gonna respect you as a person. They're gonna think, wow, that person is very rude. Why is this person addressing me as special when they're addressing someone with a disability? Just makes you sound uneducated. So how should you properly use person first language? So you shouldn't say he is crippled, she is wheelchair bound, midget or dwarf, he is retarded, handicapped or disabled person. Rather, you should say people with disabilities. He has a physical disability. She uses a wheelchair. A person of a short height. He has an intellectual disability. There's one exception to person first language, and that is the deaf community. They prefer to be referred to as deaf person or deaf community. But if you never know how to address someone with a disability, you should just ask them. They're people too, and they'll tell you if something you're saying is hurtful, and their feelings won't be hurt if you ask. But if you just go and address them in a rude manner, their feelings will be hurt and they won't respect you.
How am I an inclusive leader? As an inclusive leader, I include everyone. I can, no matter their disabilities, religion, gender, or race. While I play unified sports and Special Olympics basketball, I always include my friends because I know it will make me feel bad about myself if they didn't include me as a U.S. ambassador for Special Olympics, I got to travel around the country and give presentations on why inclusion is important for our generation. Everyone should choose to include. Celebrities who are inclusive leaders. Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps is an Olympic swimmer for the U.S. He won a total of 28 medals at the Special Olympics. He hosts a number of swimming clinics for Special Olympics athletes. This gave athletes with disabilities the chance to learn swimming techniques from a world champion. LeBron James. LeBron James is a professional basketball player in the NBA. His accomplishments include 3 NBA championships, 4 NBA Most Valuable Players MVP awards, 3 final MVP awards, and 2 Olympic gold medals. James holds the all-time record for playoffs. Point is third in all-time points and 8th in all-time assists. James has been an inclusive leader in the Black Lives Matter movement. He has fought for justice for Black people in the U.S. Malila was targeted in assist attempt by the Taliban when she was 15 years old. Since suffering the assistance attempt, she has fought for inclusion and equality for women and occasion. She created a non-profit education organization to help women gain access to equal education. Brainstorm ways you can be an inclusive leader.
So here's some ways you can be an inclusive leader. These are all things that we compiled as a group. So use person-first language, stand up for someone who can't stand up for themselves, provide support for each other, create a safe space where everyone feels welcome, have an open mind, educate someone who doesn't understand what they're doing wrong or why they are being rude, and challenge the status quo. Here is a closing video by Special Olympics for you all to watch.
The right to play on any playing field, you have earned it. The right to hold a job, you have earned it. The right to study in any school, you have earned it. The right to be anyone's neighbor, you have earned it. You have taught us that what matters is not power or politics, weapons or wealth. What truly counts is the courageous spirit and the generous heart. The days of separation and segregation are over.
Here are some main takeaways we want everyone to leave this presentation with. So put the person before their disability when addressing people with disabilities.
Being an inclusive leader is important for innovation and for making people feel welcome. And being an inclusive leader applies to everybody.
All right, the last thing everyone has to do is take this quiz and complete and pass this quiz with a 70% or higher to move on to the next lesson. We want to thank everyone for watching the presentation. Once again, I'm Emma Murphy.
I'm Samantha Coleman.
Downey